Folks, OB48, the latest patch for Paladins, has come onto the public test server with guns blazing. This one is a big one. Now we've got the new champion Seris, but lots of other features, champion nerfs and buffs, and cosmetics have come with this patch. Now just very quickly I'm going to mention one of the massive things that has come, but isn't coming to live OB48, it's just with the public test server, and that is voice chat. Now I've been banging on about having a voice chat for a long time now, because it benefits playing as a team together so much. And I actually was putting together a script for a top 5 things to change in Paladins or features to add, and voice chat was on there, so I can put that script in the bin. That's gone now. The voice chat is very buggy. Currently in the custom games you can hear both sides, because why not? So I was having a quick chat with a Bomb King on my enemy team.
I'm the Bomb King on the other team.
Oh shit. So everyone can talk.
Yeah, from both teams.
Well, GG.
Voice chat in general coming into the game, maybe not on OB48, maybe not for a few patches, but so far generally looking good. You've got your push to talk feature, you've got your open mic feature, although the open mic is a bit ridiculous at the moment and goes into the lobby. There isn't as much UI elements in the lobby, so you can't really fiddle and mute people in the actual lobby itself, but in game, if you mute people in the tab menu, you can mute individual people, or you can, if you press escape, mute all players and just turn off your voice completely. Again, thumbs up for this prototype, and pretty much surprising all of us here, Hyra, so this one's definitely a good one. Next up, and I'd like to get into the nitty gritty of the nerfs and buffs of the champions this patch. One of the biggest nerfs and a lot of people were asking for is Lex. Now, Death Hastens will no longer activate when hitting deployables or shields. This is a big deal, especially for the Lexers playing as damage dealers, picking up Wrecker. This would have stacked and basically made you able to burst down shields really easily. They've also reduced the damage of your magnums, the left click, from 700 to 680 base. It's not a huge reduction, but combined with that shield damage reduction, it makes it more impactful. And they've also increased the damage fall off of Lex. So in general, his poke damage has been reduced. So a lot of people are complaining that even with the damage fall off, because of Death Hastens mainly, and the huge damage at 700 per hit, that at range, Lex was still hitting pretty heavily. Another thing people complained about was his sustain with Fortitude, his card that heals him whilst he's in pursuit. Now it only heals him in pursuit if he hits a target. Before, it would just heal for the duration of the ability. Now every shot you hit with pursuit heals you for 25, 50, 75 or 100 health at each level. To be honest, this is kind of roundly just a big nerf for Lex here, and it'll be interesting to see whether he'll be able to survive such a big hit. I think the thing with Lex is that he's been played as a damage dealer rather than a flank, and in some ways I think perhaps Hi-Rez made him a flank, because if he was a damage dealer, he'd be getting too many credits on top of the credits he already earns because of doing so much damage. And next up on the chopping block is Bomb King. Now Bomb King has been performing very well in matches in the last patch, and got the stardom of the Masters LAN being the first pick every game. And basically he was one of those flanky champions, had huge burst potential and great damage, and also utility in his stuns and control in the battlefield. Now, what's been reduced is his maximum health from 2,500 to 2,400, and his sticky bombs have an increased refire rate of 0.6 to 0.7 seconds. This is like the time between throwing. And finally, Accelerant, your legendary card, has a reduced self knockback from 60% to 50%. Now this is a card that made it so you could get across large areas of the map, and is kind of one of the big hits here. What's interesting is the sticky jump, which I showed in another video, where you can get yourself a bit further by using your sticky bombs to keep you in the air, still works. And because Bomb King's range with his jump has been reduced, this actually might be more of a legitimate strategy to get you to some of the jumps before that you could make with the 60% knockback. Playing him in the PTS, he didn't feel that he'd been nerfed into the ground or anything. I think it's just pulling him back a little bit and bringing him in line with some of the other damage dealers. And he was able to get into the back lines and get out again with Poppy Bomb and sort of wreck face with the huge health as well. It was hard to take him on 1v1 in pretty much every situation. Fernando, who we've been asking for so long to be buffed to come back into the meta, has received a small buff, and that's with the damage of the Flame Lance going from 30 to 35 per hit. Now this stacks up with the dot, so isn't necessarily just a 5 damage increase. I guess it does make Fernando's damage a bit more viable, but we'll just have to see how effective that actually is in game. Inara also has received a small buff, increasing her effective range on a stone spear, her left click, and that's the damage range, by 25%, because she does get into fights further away because she can't really move off a point when she's on it, or she can't really move out of areas because she has no movement, so she needs that more potent attack to take on enemies. Still, it's Inara, and I don't know whether we'll see her in the meta this patch. She just hasn't really been picked up or hasn't really found her place just yet. The next big nerf is on Charlene, and this is with his Q ability, his planted, and basically they're increasing the time where you get into your planted and start the animation to when you start firing from 0.4 to 0.6 seconds. So currently what you do is you right click your impaler arrow, your stun, you stun them into a wall, and then you press your Q, get into your Q, and basically burst them down with that. Now this 0.2 seconds doesn't sound like a lot, but that's an extra shot that you could be missing when they come out of their stun, and they might be able to hop away or jump away. This basically just gives them a chance to get away from your impaler arrow, but if you hit all your shots, you're probably still going to kill somebody and burst them down, but this just gives them that slither of hope to get away. And especially on champions like, say, a Maldamba that can slither, or champions that have a decent movement, they might be able to hit their movement ability just out of that stun and get out of there. I think this is important on the fun factor, because playing against Charlene wasn't fun and it was just a bit cheesy. But at the same time, it was quite an integral part of his kit, so how much of a hit he will take, we'll just have to see in the patch. Next up is a buff, and this is to Skye. Now, the first one that's really interesting is Time Bomb. This is her ultimate, and now it is thrown instead of you placing it down, and the fuse, the timer on the bomb, starts when the bomb has landed. Why is this important? Well, if you were Skye before, you literally had to run into a group of enemies, drop your bomb down. A lot of the time, because the way invisibility works, they see you when you get closer up, so they'll see the outline of you. If there's a tank there like a Makara or something, they can hook you and just burst you down and kill you before you can put that time bomb down. Now you can throw in your bomb, sit at the back lines towards the edge of where the bomb radius is going to be, and fire into the middle whilst the bomb is ticking anyway, and you don't have to be stuck in the middle. And a lot of the time as well, if you drop your bomb, you'd be killed after you drop the bomb, and that was part of the problem as well. This is actually really interesting with Seris, because Seris can throw down their gravity well sort of ultimate, where they throw down their orb and pull people in, and now Skye can throw her ultimate into the where that ultimate is going to pull people, and that is a wombo combo waiting to happen. So maybe we'll see some Skye Seris combos here. Maybe that will actually become part of the meta. Maybe this is the first time we'll see Skye out. Maybe, I mean, it's a big maybe. But the next thing that they increased was the duration of hidden, your invisibility, by 4 seconds base. But with this, they did reduce the hidden duration on the card cloak, and that before gave 2, 4, 6 or 8 seconds extra, 2, 1, 2, 3 or 4 seconds extra on that hidden. Now at the max level, they're actually both the same, because the 4 seconds goes into that 8 seconds and on the original card, so basically max you can only get as big a hidden as you could before, but it means that you don't have to specialize in this hidden card to have more invisibility. Now we still haven't seen a new movement ability to Skye, but that changed her ultimate, and also giving her a bit more invisibility base might just nudge her to be a bit more competitive, but it'll be interesting to see how Skye pans out this patch. Victor also got a slight buff with some reduced recoil to their rifle, and actually playing against him, he did seem to be very accurate on the enemy team. And to be fair, in the most competitive matches, he wasn't seen being picked up all that often, whereas in previous patches he had been more of a pickup. The next champion that's got a buff is Cassie, and that is to her ultimate. I was actually thinking of doing a worst ultimates in Paladins video as well. Cassie's was one of them, and Scout, her ultimate, now also increases Cassie's movement speed by 30% for the duration of her ultimate. So not only can you see all the enemies, but you can get to them a lot quicker now. And just generally, this gives her some power on her ultimate that she didn't have before, because most other champions have something that makes them better or gives them some power to kill people during their ultimates, whereas Cassie's was a team play ultimate. It gave everybody vision, but to herself it didn't do an awful lot. I mean, it does give her that CC or crowd control immunity, so she can't be stunned or slowed during her ultimate either, which a lot of people didn't know. But this is another big deal, I guess, because she'll be fast and she won't be able to be slowed, whilst being able to see everybody. An interesting fix on Makoa is that there was a bug before where you could activate your ultimate, but get hooked or stunned or something like that, and basically it wouldn't consume the ultimate, but heal you up to full health. So now you actually must have to finish the casting time of Ancient Rage before gaining the increased health. It's actually kind of a bit of a nerf to how you use your ultimate, because you use it to save yourself in some sticky situations, and that cast time could cost you your life sometimes. Finally, Kinessa's had a small change. So Steady Aim, Kinessa's legendary card, will no longer apply its extra damage to shields, and basically this is hitting a fully charged shot and then hitting another one, getting 30% more damage if you hit them between 5 seconds. And this is another one, alongside Lex nerf, to give a bit more power to the shields, I guess. Because Wrecker at the moment is so potent, it wasn't really necessary to have these extra buffs and reductions to shields on the table as well. All in all, the champion buffs and nerfs actually seem to be good this patch. They seem to be in line with how the champions were performing, and some of the champions being brought into line with other ones. There's also some general bug fixes that are worth talking about. They've finally fixed the competitive champion picks, not being able to trade with players, and also making sure that the pick phase was actually right with the players that are listed in order in the UI. They also fixed a big bug that's been in the game for quite a while now, and this is overtime triggering more than once, sometimes when a team captures a point, and this has lost quite a few points in a lot of games that I've been on. On maps, they brought back into the rotation Sand Ridge. This is one with loads of levels and teleporters at the bottom, but also with that test map, we've seen a lot of improvements to collision in the game, and this is a big complaint that lots of people have had, is basically you get stuck on walls and running around edges, and you basically sort of fall into the floor and sort of get stuck. But they've improved the collision around the spawn room doors and Jaguar Falls, a big one. Some of the snow-capped trees and ice mines and Frozen Guard, you got caught on those a lot as well. On lanterns and small props and ice mines, the door frames and doorways in Stone Keep, and also the pillars in Frog Isle's spawn room. And yes, 100% yes, this needed to be ironed out. I don't know if they've got all of them, but this is very promising. And one of the most annoying bugs that has existed up to OB47, so ironing this out is fantastic. Finally, with the patch in the last part of the breakdown, let's talk about the customizations that have come with this patch. And again, like I say, always more skins, more good quality skins, and monetizing that way rather than the grind and the other free-to-play elements that are more annoying is great for the game. And I'm happy this time there are 3 pretty awesome skins. The first one is Meldamba, the Chancellor. They said he's sort of Victorian, but I don't know whether I get the steampunk vibe as much as just something generally ornate. It's changed his neck to have like this sort of hinged mouth, and basically just he looks very ornate. It also carries over to your Dread Serpent, your ultimate, where the snake comes out of the ground and it's the snake of the skin, which looks pretty damn cool. The next one, probably my favourite this patch, is Maeve the Alley Cat. And this basically gives Maeve cat ears and a cat tail on the back of her cloak, and her cloak actually sort of shimmers with a pink and is black on its own design, and also has these daggers with little paws on them, just more of just a normal skin colouring rather than full on a model change, but looks pretty damn cool. The whole thing works really well together, and one of my favourite skins so far, and I think needed in the game and makes her look a bit more unique and cat-like. Finally, there's Blizz King. This is a skin for Bomb King. It makes him look like a big tycoon of business, and basically just gives him a money crown and a body which is suited up. It's really funny because the suit sort of stretches across all of his bomb parts and just looks ridiculous. And it has a money dollar sign with himself saying His Majesty on his back, on his cloak, and just generally is a nice skin as well. Now, there is a new chest, the Emporium chest, which is only 40 crystals, so it's a small cost to buy this. And also, they're giving a free roll to absolutely everybody. And this is the chest that's going to have this Meldamba Chancellor in, and also is going to have voice lines in it. And is just generally going to be their new low roll chest and low cost chest. Now, chests aren't my favorite thing in games because they're RNG, they're kind of like gambling, but at the same time, we've got 2 skins that you can purchase directly and this chest. And at the end of the day, the more they monetize out of skins, the better in my opinion, and the more that becomes their business model over things like XP boosts, the better. Anyway, all in all, OB48 looks to be a great patch lining up. And Seris is great fun too, and it has had some gameplay in this video. What does everybody else think about the OB48 buff? What do you think about my thoughts on it? Be sure to let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit that like button, dislike it if you didn't, subscribe for more of my content, and I'll see you all on the next video.